Hey guys, happy Mishmas. I just wanted to put on some makeup today. It is actually Christmas Day. You'll be seeing this after Christmas. And for those of you who celebrate, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Hope you got to spend some good time with your family. I hope it wasn't too dramatic. I feel like it can always be a little bit dramatic. Anyway, mine was very, very quiet. It was just my husband and I. We went over to my parents for dinner, so it was just the four of us. My parents cooked some good old-fashioned Chinese food, which is my husband's favorite, which is very nostalgic for me. So that was it. That was my Christmas Eve. And then today I'm just filming and editing. I feel like a robot at this point, but I need to finish out Mishmas. We've got, let's see, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 6 more days, 6 more videos. I do think I'm gonna film actually 5 more videos and then I'm gonna do a live stream. So I will see you guys in person soon. But let's go ahead and just get started. Like I said, I just wanna put on some makeup today. I did get some new makeup. I did recently haul some makeup, but I am missing a few things. We'll just fill them in with some old favorites. But I did wanna show you guys, I did end up picking up the Guerlain Meteorites, the special Chinese New Year edition, I should say Lunar New Year edition, apologies, Lunar New Year edition. And I was not sure because it didn't state on the Nordstrom site whether or not like this was a special shade as well, you know, what they do for the holidays. It's not. It is in Clair Light, which I don't have. So it works out for me, but basically it's just kind of like new packaging for the Clair Light shade. But I will show you guys that when we get to that point. We'll use that for finishing powder. Chanel basically, I think reinvented is the word that they used. I'm guessing they reformulated their lip liner. So I got 2 colors, 162 Nude Brun and 188 Brun Carmine. So we'll be playing with those. I also picked up one of their limited edition Rouge Allure Camellia lipsticks. I got it in the color 637 Camellia Poupre. It's the deepest color that I saw. So we'll definitely incorporate that. And like I said, some of the things that I've recently hauled. So I'm actually sitting here trying to figure out what I should do for first steps. So you guys know I've been loving my Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. But Good Molecules did send me their silicone-free priming moisturizer, which I've been wanting to try. I wanted to kind of properly test this. So I've been holding off on using this, but I did want to try the Kosas Tinted Face Oil again. I've tried this already and it didn't quite work out for me. I made a whole video about it, basically just kind of balled up on my face. And many of you, told me that it happened to you as well. But many of you also said, you really have to let your skincare, soak in and make sure you don't have any extra skincare on your face to kind of like combine with this and like ball up. So I'm nervous about putting this down. So I think I'm not going to. I'll use that maybe another day when I'm not using this. So we are giving this another shot. I have it in the shade 03 and you must shake well. I hope you guys can hear how watery that is, but it's very, very watery. It is a tinted oil. And I guess I'll just use my fingers. That's what I used before, but I'm wondering if I use a brush, if that will maybe help kind of spread the product without it balling up. I feel like, I don't know, the motion of my hands also doesn't really like help. Well, let's try it on one side of my face with just my fingers. So I do have skincare down, but I have waited. It's been like 3 hours since I put it on. So I'm hoping we won't have any interference here. Oh, and no interference. I don't feel any balling up. Oh, nice. Very light coverage. Oh, awesome. Really, really light coverage. I see just the faintest bit of some like evening out there. You can probably see like my cheek over here is a little bit more, blotchy, a little bit more red. And you can't really see that here, but very, very light. I'm actually going to add a little bit more on top. I want to see how this layers, if it layers at all. So I'm just going to, it's like so liquidy. I can't even show you the texture because it's just going to run off my fingers, but it is just, it's like oil. All right, so there is 2 light layers. Feel like I got a little bit more coverage, but I would still call this very light in terms of coverage. But you can see that it's really done a nice job kind of blanking out that like redness I have on my cheeks, the hyperpigmentation I have on my jawline. All right. So I'm very curious if any of you out there have tried this and you have like combo oily skin. Did this work for you? I'm so curious if this works for anyone other than someone with like dry, to maybe even normal skin because it's very oily. So I'm just curious if it works on oilier skin types. I'm gonna try and drip some onto the back of my hand here. Whoa. And then I'm gonna take the brush. This is the BK Beauty 106 brush. And I'm just gonna spread that out. All right, so I think it applied very nicely with the brush. I feel like I just look really oily though. I mean, I have dry skin, so I don't mind like a little bit of dew, but I don't want to look oily, and I feel like I look very, very oily right now. Well, hopefully some powder will take care of that. But I did want to point out, because I have some, I don't know, like little rough texture around my face in some spots because of, you know, old eczema scars and things like that. I feel like it's kind of catching on to those areas. And it kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys can see that, it kind of looks like dry and flaky, but it's really just kind of like the oil sitting on top of those areas. I also feel like it's picking up on like my little peach fuzz here and like down on my chin. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this yet. So far it's definitely not my favorite, unfortunately, but for different reasons than my original video, which was when it just kind of balled up. But now I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of sitting on my skin strangely. And I know it's an oil, but I really didn't expect to look quite so oily. So let's go ahead and like keep going and see if powder kind of takes care of this. So I've got my Stilo Lumiere from Sisley that I've been using constantly. And we'll just continue with that. I'm just going to use the same brush, the BK 106. And as for face powder, this I've already shown you guys on my channel once, but I thought I would go ahead and use it again. This is the new Chantecaille face powder that's part of their holiday collection. It's the one that's like pink toned, not the gold one that's like a highlight. This is one that's more just like a face powder. So I'm going to use this as a setting powder, and I've got the Chantecaille Buff and Blur brush. And I'm going to just load up the brush here and then kind of press that into the skin. So this powder has like a little bit of a sheen to it. So even though I'm trying to kind of dampen this like oiliness that you can see from the tinted oil, I don't want to look too matte or too dry. So I'm hoping this is going to be good enough to kind of dampen that oily look, but I still feel like I see it kind of shining through. It's better. It's definitely better than this side. There, I think a second layer of powder really kind of brought down the oiliness, but there's still a really nice sheen going on. I do feel like this powder kind of changed the tone of the foundation a little bit. I think it brightened it up actually. I don't think it looks bad necessarily, but I do think this powder has a little bit of coverage to it. You know, I like the look of this foundation powder combination on my face, but I don't like it around my eyes. I feel like it's doing like a weird creasing thing here, and I feel like it's just not like setting. I feel like it's just kind of sitting on top of my skin. It's just, yeah, it's just acting weird. I am gonna blame the face oil underneath for that because I've used this combination before. I can't remember over which foundation I did, but I've definitely used this combination before and it was fine. So I'm thinking it's the face oil, but I'm just gonna kind of just keep pressing everything in with my finger. It seems to be smoothing everything out. So Kosas also sent me over this Color and Light pressed in Contra Chroma, and it is this color here. Isn't that just, it's so, so beautiful. So I think this can kind of double as like a bronzer contour blush, I guess triple act as a bronzer contour blush. So I'm just going to go in with this shade very, very lightly. I have a bit of experience with this formulation of theirs, and it's very pigmented and very, I don't want to say powdery. It's a little powdery, but it's very easy to pick up. So I need to use a light kind of like fluffy brush. Actually, I know which one I want to use. Where is it? I'm going to use the Sonia G Soft Cheek Brush and just pick up a little bit of product, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to brush that over this whole area. Ooh, gonna have to buff that out a little. really enjoy using this buff brush to like work out this blush. It's really given it a really lovely, lovely kind of like airbrushed look. Yee. Love it. I love these kind of like burnt terracotta colors. And this highlight half is definitely too deep for me in terms of highlight. So I'm just going to use this around the apples of my cheeks. I'm just going to take the same soft cheek brush, just kind of buff it. Wow, that is a lot darker than I thought. So I'm taking this buff brush and buffing that in. I feel like this color ended up being darker than the blush. That's so weird. It doesn't swatch that way. Interesting. Okay. Well, let me even out these two sides. Okay. Now I definitely look like a maniacal clown. So I've been using this buff brush kind of clean without any product on there or just with leftover products. So I'm going to add a little bit of this powder just to see if I can kind of tone this down a little bit. I think that looks better. I think I still look crazy, but I think that looks a little bit better. I'm going to take whatever's left over on the soft cheek brush. I'm not adding any more product. And I'm just going to brush that over my forehead just to give it a little bit of color. All right, next up for highlighter, I hauled this a while ago and I wanted to do a whole look kind of surrounding this collection. This is the Melt Cosmetics Amor Eterno, I think was the collection name, and this is the highlight that came with it. So I was gonna do a whole video, you know, with the eyeshadow palettes or whatever. I just haven't gotten around to it, and so I wanted to use this highlight because I've been waiting to do that video, so I haven't used the highlight, and it's really, really beautiful. So I thought we'd use it today. But look at that pretty embossing. I was gonna say pretty powder, but let's look at the embossing first. I absolutely love it. And then the powder has this kind of peachy pinky duochrome-ness to it. And yeah, I think it'll actually look really pretty with this blush since this blush is so deep, but it has such a like warm peachy tone to it. So let's see, what brush should I use? I'm gonna try the Scott Barnes highlight brush. I'm still playing around with these because I want to give you guys, you know, like my final thoughts on all of them. So I'm just gonna take this and run it across. Doesn't seem difficult for this brush to pick up, which is good, but typical baked product, there's like little kind of dust particles everywhere now. Oh, wow. This has a much stronger like pink shift going on. I don't know, maybe it's the lighting, but I hope you guys can see that. It's very, very pink. That shine though, it's so, so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can't see it in my monitor, but it does have a very strong pink shift to it. And I don't know if you guys can see it. So I'm gonna take this buff brush again and I just wanna kind of soften up the edges. I don't wanna take away the shine, but I do wanna make it look a little less stripe-like. Right, and next for eyeshadow, I wanted to use this Addiction palette that the Beauty Gypsy sent over to me. These are not products that are easy to find in the US, and this was a custom palette that I believe she kind of put together for me. So I'm gonna have to pop, this is like their compact 2 case, and I'm gonna have to pop these like shadows out from the back. You see there's like these pinholes, and let you know what the shades are. But isn't this just gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. I guess I could have used this kind of as an all over bronze. I think my face is deep enough with this blush. Is really so overboard. When I look at the monitor, all I see are these like orange cheeks. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these eyeshadows. Hopefully it'll go with this crazy maniacal clown blush look. I'm gonna use my Esom S33 brush and go into this upper left-hand shade here. And this has like a soft satin sheen. I think you guys can see that. And again, I'm gonna leave like the names of these colors down below in the description box, but oh, they're so gorgeous. Grabbing my G34 brush to blend out. Next, I've got my Sonia G Worker 1 brush. I'm gonna go into this beautiful like mauve shade. It has like, it's a satin base, but it has little micro glitters in there. It's just gorgeous. So I'm gonna sweep this all over my lid. And again, taking the G34 Esom brush. Next, I'm going to take my Esom W21 brush and go into this crystalline shade here. And I'm going to place that on the inner corner. It's a beautiful topper, so I'm just going to add it all over that mauve shade. I wonder, you know what, it'd probably be better if I did it with my finger. So I'm gonna grab some with my ring finger here and press. And then I'm gonna take the Sonia G mini booster brush and I'm gonna go into this deep shade here. I'm gonna add this like a little bit to the outer corner along my lash line, just again to add a little bit of dimension. This brush was a little too fluffy for my lash line, so I'm actually going to try this Scott Barnes brush, the 59 brush. I actually haven't gotten a chance to use this yet. And go back to this shade up here and just add this to my lash line. All right, so that's it for this addiction palette. Oh, I just love this so much. Again, a huge, huge thank you to the Beauty Gypsy for sending this over to me. I am like so in love. And you know, addiction, like I mentioned, it's very hard to find in the US, but I did come across a couple sites that do carry it, that do ship to the US. I personally have never ordered from there, so I can't really vouch for them, but I will list them down below in my description box. I think one is based in Hong Kong. Bon Bon Cosmetics, and they seem to carry a lot of addiction. So anyway, I will list them down below. She also sent me over an addiction eyeliner pencil, and definitely gonna use this. I wanna try this in my waterline. And this is in the color number 9, Rabbit Hole. And it's one of those pencils that twists up and twists down. And there's a sharpener at the end. And this color looks to be like a very, very deep, dark, like ashy brown. Wow, it just like glided right onto my waterline. Wow, that was really easy. All right, thumbs up for this eyeliner. Went onto the waterline like a breeze. No smudging yet, so we'll see what happens by the end of the video, but really, really great. Let's move on to mascara, and this is another thing that the Beauty Gypsy sent to me from Japan. This is the Helena Rubinstein Lash Queen Mascara Feline Blacks Waterproof. So it's supposed to give you intense length and volume, 24-hour wear. That sounds horrible. And this is in the color 01 Deep Black. Well, I am loving this case. You guys know how much I love animal print. Wow, this is like my soul in a mascara tube. Ooh, check out this wand. So it's very long, and then there's like a lot of nice like fluffy bristles. I really like that. I like the look of this. Okay, that is one coat, and it did a nice job kind of like separating, but I don't think I see a lot of volume yet. I think we'll see that probably on the second coat. So let's do another coat, but oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Okay, the second coat is pretty magical. Yeah, that second coat is pretty magical. Usually if I go in with a second coat of mascara, it just starts to look really like lumpy. Wow. They look really long and fluttery. The only thing is it's not really holding my curl. So this being a waterproof mascara, I think if I curl my lashes again, the mascara sitting on my lashes will actually help hold the curls. So I'm gonna let it dry just a little bit. All right, let's curl these again, see what happens. Well, all right. I guess I'll have to see if this curl actually lasts. But waterproof mascara is supposed to really help curl. And no smudging with the eyeliner. I'm like really, really happy with this eye look right now. All right, so I still have to do eyebrows. I kind of forgot. I'm just gonna use what I have sitting out here, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift in Supermodel, and then I'm going to run the Tom Ford brow gel comb over it. This has been like my new favorite thing. I love this stupid thing. So let me do that very quickly and I'll be right back and we'll kind of play around with some new lip products. All right, and now we have some new Chanel lip products. So Chanel just recently reinvented their lip liner, and I liked their old lip liners. I had no problem with them. In fact, I think it was one of the very first lip liners I ever purchased way back when I was in college, and it was always great, but I guess they decided they needed to switch it up a little bit. So they are definitely very long lasting because I swatched them when I got them just to make sure I liked the colors, and couldn't wash them off to save my life. It took like a lot of hand washing, some makeup remover, a shower, some more makeup remover, and I actually still, can you guys see that line? That's still like a little bit of it left over from this color. Actually, this is the Brun Carmen, color number 188, and they look exactly the same as the old lip liners. It has the lip brush at one end, and then it's got the pencil at the other. They're the ones that you sharpen. It comes with a sharpener in here. So they look exactly the same, but I do think they're a little bit longer lasting. I don't remember ever having this situation with the other Chanel lip liners. So here, let me do a proper swatch of this. So this is Brun Carmen, and I got this color specifically to go with the lipstick that I got, which is the 637 Camellia Poupre. God, I just, no. These are the limited edition Rouge Allure Camellia lipsticks, and I purchased these off of Nordstrom. They seem to pop up onto Nordstrom first. And these look just like the Rouge Allure lipsticks, except there's a little camellia like embossing there. Isn't that cool? So you press these down and then they pop open. So this is the 637 color. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it again, but I thought this would be a good match. Kind of. The tones are a little bit different. The lipstick is a little bit more blue based than the lip liner. And then the other lip liner I got is 162 Nude Brun, and this is just like a nude color. So here is Nude Brun. All right, I'm going to apply some of the lip liner here. And again, this is the 188 color. Wow, this is gliding on so smoothly. There's no tugging or dragging. It doesn't feel dry at all. So I filled in with the lip liner a little bit, so it kind of blends in with the lipstick better. All right, that's as good as it's gonna get. I feel like I say that every time I put on red lipstick, but I like this. This is like such a great like winter holiday lip color. Oh, so good. So I think Chanel came out with 3 colors in the Rouge Allure Luminous Intense Lip Color formula, and then in the Rouge Allure like Velvet, like their more matte formula, I think there's also 3 colors. Anyway, they're all on Nordstrom. I'll link to it down below. But these are limited edition. Their new lip liners are not limited edition. I think they're just replacing the older lip liners. Okay, so let's move on to the Guerlain Meteorites. I had to get the Lunar New Year special packaging, so it looks just like the other Meteorites packaging except it's red, and then instead of having like the colors of the pearls inside, it's just gold. And then, like I mentioned before, this is in the shade Claire Light, which I don't have. I have the medium, and then I have the darker shade. So this is number 2. I think they actually do have like a fair shade, a number 1 shade, which they don't really, at least not here in the US, they don't really sell very often. I don't see it stocked. This is what the pearls look like. And hopefully it'll kind of help blend this like my crazy maniacal clown blush situation over here. So I've got my trusty Sonia G Face 1 brush. I'm gonna go into these pearls. And this is the color that Tara Babies uses. And Tara Babies is the one that really convinced me to get these meteorites. It just looks so beautiful on her skin, but I do wonder if it's too cool toned for me. Yeah, it really helped blend that blush in, don't you think? I look less maniacal and just kind of crazy clown, that's it. Yes, yes, that looks so much better. Thank you, Meteorites, again, for saving the day. I feel like if you ever feel like your cheap products look just a little too strong, a little bit too stripey, Face 1 brush, Meteorites, buff, it's like perfection. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching me play with some of my new makeup. Everything will be listed down below in the description box if you are interested, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'm also doing a giveaway at the moment. It's not going on for a very long time, so definitely check my description box as to how to enter. Good luck to you, and I will see you in my next video.